Everything good either.
I called him. I said,
Yeah.
Said you did. I just
Yeah.
checked come back now, still looks.
Not me, I
On Thompson Road.
got the physical one of the witnesses.
I guess that board
Probably got one of the
submission that was the only one that submitted.
I think so. 124.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's call the meeting order for the Upson County Board of Commissioners for Tuesday, February the 22nd, 2002. If you would at this time, please rise for our invitations. Followed by a pledge.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we come with our heads and humble hearts, thanking you for all your many blessings. We thank you for life, health, and strength. Father, we ask that you bless this gathering, bless this meeting. Give us the courage and the strength to make decisions that are in the best interests of the community and that are pleasing in your sight. We ask a special blessing on the leaders of this community, our nation, and bless those that are fighting to take care of our freedom to make sure that we can continue to enjoy life as we know it. Father, we not only ask that you bless those that are near and dear to us, but bless mankind everywhere. This we ask in thy name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Would you join me in the pledge? I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Thank you, everybody, for coming tonight. Okay. First on the agenda is a public hearing. It's a public hearing for a beer and wine pouring sales license for the applicant is Vivian Solomon on behalf of Ms. Scorpios at 1524 Highway 19 North. Is there a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Public hearing is now open. Have just one signed up for comments, and that would actually be Ms. Solomon. So, Ms. Solomon, we may have more questions for you. Where are you? Okay. If you would, just please come up and state your name and your residential address, and then you get 5 minutes to talk to us. Say anything you want for 5 minutes.
Hi everybody, I'm Vivian Solomon. I'm trying to start a karaoke bar here, and I'm hoping for the approval of the beer and wine license. I've having possession of this place, I've come to know of the blemish it has for Upson County. I really want to change that and to show that we all can come out, have fun, and don't worry about something like this ever happening again. I want to be someone that can join the business community, and they have been so patient, some of them. I've started the business and selling food, and they have been so patient with the water and stuff they've allowed me to use. And I really, really would appreciate if you guys approve this. I have so much on my shoulders, and I just want to prove that I want to be someone that's active, someone that's contributing, someone that's beneficial to the community here in Upson County. And I chose this place, and I want to start anew here. And I'm hoping you guys approve for that. I'll even sing for you if you want to.
That's okay.
But thank you.
Okay. Well, I don't think I got your address at the beginning. What's your?
It's 1524 Highway 19 North, the old Chinese restaurant.
That's where. No, where do you live?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It is 4552 Old Dixie Highway in Forest Park, Georgia.
Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. There are no one else signed up for comments, so I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
So we'll
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? It's unanimous. So with that, Mr. Courier, you, or, let's see, you don't have a presentation on this, do you? This is, all right. So, gentlemen, you have before you an application for a beer and wine pouring license for the 4/15/24 US Highway 19 North. I guess before we have any discussion, I'll just ask for a motion on this application. Or do you guys have any questions or anything y'all want to talk about before we ask for a motion? And then, okay, I'll ask for a motion then. Is there a motion on the application? I don't hear, without a motion, this dies for lack of a motion. Correct, Mr. English?
That's correct.
Okay.
I have a question for the applicant, if I may.
Sure.
You said you were serving food currently.
Yes,
What, I guess, what is the menu? I mean, what are you serving? What's your plans?
for the menu, it is light, and what every bar sells is the wings. And then I have nachos, of course, fries, and I have a sausage after I want to do too. It's just really light, simple, and something that family and friends can come enjoy, share.
Thank you.
So it's really not a restaurant, it's a beer and snacks.
Sounds like it's more of a karaoke bar, correct? Is that what you?
Yes, it is karaoke. I have talked to Mr. Ben, Health and Food Inspector, and if need be, I would be able to add the hamburgers on there, if need be, but I have to get to know the community, the likes, wants of everyone, so that's why I'm starting with that. But it is karaoke, and I'm also trying to get it where we can, like, reward ones that come out, give out prizes and stuff, just like a good old-fashioned family-friendly meeting place. But yeah, it is open to other foods. I'm just waiting so I can get a crowd in there and get the suggestions going.
So I see you've got your inspection from DPH for food service. Is there? I mean, I assume that they also check to make somebody the serve safe requirements for preparing food. You completed all that?
Yes, sir. They told me I have the 60 days, which I will have that completed within that time frame. I had to do the hiring, and which I just got that completed, so I'll be having the serve safe done within a few weeks.
Is there?
I don't know, you know, you can sit down, you don't have to stand up and look at us, but, I mean, you admitted it right off the bat when you started. I mean, that section right there has been troublesome. You can ask the sheriff in the back of the room, you know, from, I really hate for you to spend your money and things don't work out over there, but still, you know, I think she's got a 1-year lease on it. Other than that, I really don't know what to say on this one. This one here is a tough one.
If I could, Mr. Jones, on that part, for that negative image, the sheriff department does know me. Any shady business that I've noticed going on, shady people, I call them immediately to get rid of them off the premises. Even if they've kind of snuck in during business hours, which I have started the karaoke part of it, I immediately get rid of them. So I'm not afraid to be tough on that part and keep that type of gathering from the place. So I've already started working on that, and I have no problem of being tough on it at all. And I did fire an employee that had friends that does that type of thing, and I had them removed immediately. So your department does know.
So I was by there today and looking from the outside of the building. I noticed you got a now open sign up out there. So you're open for business currently.
Yes, sir.
What kind of business have you had? I mean,
It has been very, very slow. I've had some trickling customers coming in to see the building, to taste the food, and they like it,
Sure.
and wishing me, good luck and everything. And when I did the soft opening, just to see how things would run and get everything going, people came in, they ordered, they sang, we had a good time. The small staff that I have on with me, they were very vigilant, who helped me to see what was going on and be vigilant of the people that would come and do the things that you wouldn't want around a place like that, or people would think would bring that type of environment around. So we shut that down, and I really like this staff. They are very vigilant, and I'm also doing it for them too, because I'm teaching them the business, and this is something in my family we just pass on, things that we learn, get prosperous, so you share the blessings with everyone. And I really don't want to shut down, because they've become a great family to me.
so
Yeah,
if
that's-
Well, I have a question too. If you don't mind, do you currently have or planning on having any video poker machines in this establishment?
No. Just like I didn't apply, I do have the ability to apply for liquor license, but I don't want to do that. I was going to do hookah, but after seeing the activity trying to come back through the doors, I didn't complete that. So it's just beer and wine, something that family, friends can come around, enjoy themselves, and it's not being something that's inviting to, I don't want to use a derogatory name, but the crowd, the undesirables, right. So I'm really, really being strict on that, and I'm really being strict on it.
can you sustain your business without a beer and wine license, or is this going to shut you down if you don't get a beer and wine license?
I'm thinking after a while, maybe it would. It depends on the support that I would get from the community. But it being a karaoke bar, yeah, I would need that as the other part of the income, because food is half of it. Drinking would be the other half in that type of business. And then you have entertainment that brings it all together. So I've gotten the entertainment and I've got the food. I just need the third part.
Yeah, my biggest concern is the location. Do you have an alternative? I mean, have you looked at other options?
After learning about it, I've thought about hopefully moving it, because I have everything I need. So I would just get all equipment, and hopefully if I could find something out here, because I heard of a couple of other bars shutting down, and I would love to be in the square. I would love to be in the square, because then it would be more of my vision of family and friends getting together and enjoying one another. Because I do have a part where family can come in from 5:30 to 7:30. The kids can do karaoke. They can win prizes too. Family can eat, drink together, and sit around, watch videos. And we have hockey, and You know, we have pool, that's all I have is a pool table in there. And of course, darts, so that would be about it. Just really keeping it.
Okay, gentlemen, you have the application before you. Is there a motion on this application? If we, Mr. English, if we don't act on this, it is considered to be disapproved, and I believe we would have to come back again, and then they can reapply
So
at a later date.
technically they could appeal with no motion. I mean, so if you're gonna consider it denied based on a lack of a motion, then why not make a motion to, I mean, just go ahead and act on it so we can know which way to go with it. Because last time we had to come back with it because no motion was taken on it. No action was taken on it.
Mr. Chairman, I'll defer to the attorney, but I think section 6.47 requires either an approval or denial with a reason stated.
Chairman, I'll make a motion to deny the application and with a comment to follow.
So I have a motion to disapprove. Is there a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion made and seconded to deny this application. Is there any discussion?
Yeah, I mean, again, my concern is the location, so I think if you have an alternative, I think you would probably get some better support, because the idea and the concept is not the reason for my denial.
Any other questions? So the motion again is to deny the request for this this application. Hearing no further discussion, Ms. Jones?
Commissioner Ellington,
Yes.
Commissioner Jones,
Yes.
Commissioner Wilder,
Yes.
Commissioner Watson,
Yes.
Chairman Allen.
Yes.
If I could, what would be the alternative?
If you get with us after the meeting, or if you want to reach out to us at a later, some other time, we'll be happy to talk to you. Okay, thank you. All right, gentlemen, next on the agenda are public comments. Do we have any up there?
No.
So we have no public comments. Moving along, next on the agenda is our consent agenda. On the consent is the approval of the February 8th regular meeting minutes, acceptance of the revised plans and priorities list, approval of resolution 0522 amending the 22 budget for the Department of Family and Children's Services, and to approve the contract with Loving Contracting for litter control. Is there a motion on the consent?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we approve.
I got to stop for a second. There's one thing we didn't do.
Been closed.
No, we did. What I need to do, the manager had asked that we amend the agenda to remove item E from the consent and place that under our business section, and to add personnel to the executive session. And so if it would please the board.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor of the amended agenda? Thank you. I apologize for that. So again, the consent agenda, the regular meeting minutes, the plans and priorities list, the budget for 22 for the DFACs, and approval of the Loving contractor for litter control.
Second.
Okay. The motion was made by
Commissioner Ellington.
Ellington, approved by Commissioner Jones. All in favor? Consent passes. Okay, so to kind of take care of our visitors that are here tonight, we wanted to, next on the agenda is the approved resolution 0622. It's a resolution of the Board of Commissioners of Upson County approving and authorizing the issuance of revenue bonds of Thompson-Upson County Building Authority and the terms thereof, approving certain documents in connection, including an installment sale contract, a preliminary official statement, and a disclosure certificate adopting a policy related to tax-exempt debt and related matters. So with that,
Mr. Chairman, as we discussed at the board retreat, and as we maintained our schedule since then, this morning the bonds for our construction project went to market, and we had, I think, what can be described as a very successful sale. So obviously, at 5 o'clock today, the Thomaston Upson County Office Building Authority met to approve those bonds that were sold at public sale today, and then we're presenting the commission for the final approval. So if the chair would entertain, we'd like to have our financial advisors actually walk you through the steps. Alan Salter and myself actually went through the whole process this morning, but they'll show you all the bids that we received, what our ultimate interest rate was, and I think it's overall some very, very good news that we're looking forward to sharing with you.
okay, so I'm going to pass the baton to Ricardo and Doug. Good to see you again.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Already have mine.
Thanks.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman and Mr. Tinsley for the introduction. Again, my name is Doug Gephardt with Davenport & Company, the county's financial advisor, and with me is my colleague Ricardo Conejo. And today was the culmination of a lot of months, if not years, of hard work. And we went to the bond market and had a very successful sale. And what we're asking to do this evening is approve the final results of that sale. But before I did that, I wanted to sort of give a brief overview of the bond issuance process and sort of what goes into it. So if you flip to the presentation on page 1, in order to issue bonds in the public market, we have to go get what's called a bond rating or a credit rating. And so we went to Moody's. There's two main ones in Georgia, Moody's and Standard & Poor's. We went to Moody's for this one, who rated the last bond issuance. And so what we put together is a very detailed, comprehensive rating presentation, which highlighted a lot of the economic development projects that are going on throughout the county and demonstrated the various financial strengths of the county at hand. And one of the things that we actually did get as part of that credit rating process was an upgrade from Moody's from an A1 rating to a AA3 rating, which is absolutely tremendous. Gets you into that second highest possible tier rating category. So the last T-SPLOS bonds is an A1 and moving up. To give you a sense, 159 counties in Georgia, I think only 33 have a rating in the AA category. So this is a really tremendous results and something that the county and the staff should be tremendously proud for achieving. Because of that higher bond rating, we were able to get some better interest rates as part of the sale today. Flipping to page 2, just a few observations from Moody's reports. A few things that they highlighted were the healthy financial reserves, conservative budgeting practices, formal fiscal policies, manageable long-term debt and fixed burdens, and a steadily growing tax base. One of the things that was limited is just, although it is a growing tax base, it is a little limited in size and slightly below level average wealth and income levels in the county. But that's obviously offset with cost of living. So we're very pleased with the results and the commentary. I think those are glowing remarks that were given. Healthy reserves, fine policies, strong management, all those good things are really positive. So as we headed to the market today, wanted to give you a sense of where the interest rate environment we're in. You can see here, this is the MMD in historical context. The MMD is the municipal market data yield curve that is used to price tax-exempt bonds in the public market. And this is the rates going back roughly 2 decades, back to basically 2000. And you can see consistently rates have gone lower on the top end of the page. Where we are is at far right today, really basically low as it's ever been. And then what the graph on the bottom of the page shows is those light green bars show the percent of time that the yield curve has actually been lower in the last 2 decades, 22 years to be exact. And basically starting from years 10 and out, on average, the yield curve has only been lower about 10% of the time. That means we're locking in tremendously historically low rates. Only 10% of the time in the last two decades would we have been able to lock in lower interest rates. So what happened today? So what we did is put together a preliminary official statement and a notice of sale, which is our offering documents that set forth the parameters of a competitive sale. In the competitive sale, we put it out to bid and basically accept the lowest possible interest rate. That's a combination of rates and compensation. And so we ended up getting 4 bids. They were Robert W. Baird, the Baker Group, Wells Fargo, KeyBank Capital Markets. Robert W. Baird provided the lowest TIC of 2.42%. After factoring in all the various costs associated with it, the actual interest rate, all in true interest cost, was 2.56%. So for 20 years, money to be under 3%, and in fact at 2.5%, is something that I think you can really pat yourselves on the back for. So the next page shows the final pricing results for various principal amounts, coupons, and yields on the bonds. The coupons is the rate that the investors are going to get back. The yield is that ultimate cost to the county, and you can see as you go further out on the yield curve, those yields increase slightly. One of the things that you note there, which is mentioned on the next page if you flip, is that the par amount on the bonds that we're actually going to be issued is $21.1 million. In today's market, bonds are sold at a premium. That means investors are willing to pay more than 100 cents on the dollar for county bonds. And so in order to fund the $23 million project, we only had to issue $21.1 million of bonds. So that premium helped offset the amount that needed to be borrowed. So the final debt service, which is expected to be serviced from the SPLOST, was right about $1.4 million annually over a 20-year period. So flipping the page to our schedule towards closing, we sold the bonds today, this morning at 11:15 a.m. The Office Building Authority met earlier today and approved their bond resolution. And assuming that the Commission is pleased with the results, we'd be asking you to approve the county resolution and the intergovernmental agreement, which secures the payments on the bonds for the balance of February and early March. We're going to go through a validation process and close the bonds on March 22nd. It's when the counties will get the funds available to be spent. So with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have, and appreciate the opportunity to present the results to you this evening.
Gentlemen, anybody have any questions? Comments?
I got one. On this final debt service. I think it's a typo.
It is, I know. It's supposed to say county.
Okay.
I
thought the city ain't got nothing to do with it.
You're the second one in the last 2 hours that have said that.
At the OBA meeting, I started sweating a little bit. I was embarrassed. We had to move quickly today. As I said, we sold the bonds at 11:15 and had to get down here in time, so it was moving fast. But
Okay.
yes, it is the county. County's only responsible. Yes, sir.
I didn't think the city had anything to do with this, but if they want to chip in.
All right. Any other?
No. I'm good.
Jason, any final thoughts or anything?
Good job to
No, I'm just,
everybody.
we're really overwhelmed with really how this whole process has gone. It's and it's certainly been a lot of work for Alan and his staff, much more so than the admin staff on the other side of the hall. So we got to give a lot of credit to Alan and his team, because almost everything that was put together from for the offering statement was done by their office. So. And I will give credit to the chairman, who was actually outstanding on the ratings call. So
It's easy to be
I
a
think
chairman.
together as a team, we all did a really good job on the ratings call. you know, we had a lot of help putting the basics of a presentation together. And then I think we hit it out of the park on the ratings call. Maybe a little bit of luck, but everything just came together perfectly. So, I mean, we've had no hiccups in this process whatsoever. So it's been really, I've probably done this 11 or 12 times in my career, so every other year for 20 years, and this has been extraordinarily smooth. So, and I don't think I've ever had rates this low.
And I'll just, based on what you just said, I'll tell you, it's easy to be a cheerleader on a Super Bowl team. So, you know, Alan, thank you and everybody and staff that had a lot to do with this. I know you worked hard on it. You had a couple distractions from time to time with us coming in and bothering you, but, you know, and you got a great team with these guys. You guys keep answering the bell for us, and I appreciate what you're doing. Anybody else?
I think you covered it there. I mean, I would just like to say to everybody involved, thank you. Great job.
Thank you. So, so the action we need to take is, and this is probably one of the more complex resolutions we've had. So basically, Jason, if I just state for the record that top paragraph, that
Yes.
covers everything. So without having to go through this entire document, this is our Resolution 06-2022, resolution of the Board of Commissioners, Upson County, approving and authorizing the issuance of revenue bonds of the Thomaston Upson County Office Building Authority and the terms thereof, approving certain documents in that connection, including an installment sale contract, a preliminary official statement, and a disclosure certificate, adopting a policy related to tax-exempt debt and related matters. Is there a motion on this resolution?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion for approval of county resolution.
I have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none. Ms. Jones?
Commissioner Ellington,
Yes.
Commissioner Jones,
Yes.
Commissioner Wilder,
Yes.
Commissioner Watson,
Yes.
Chairman Allen.
Yes. Thank you, gentlemen.
Congratulations.
Thank you, congratulations.
You're not going to offend us if you get up and leave. I know you got a long trip back to your home turf.
Yeah, connection, I've got the resolution that you need to sign, and the clerk needs to sign. I've got the installment contract that the clerk needs to sign, so if you want me to pass it down to you, it's tabbed. You'll sign where the blue tab is, the clerk will sign where the red tab is.
Do you need to take that back with you?
No, sir.
Okay.
We're good.
We'll get it.
We just want to make sure that Mr. English didn't mess up. I'm just kidding.
Pass the baton.
Take care.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Have safe travels. Okay, gentlemen, next on the agenda is a presentation on community ask survey on communication preferences. Ms. Hudson.
So just a quick, I'm Jessica, by the way, the Community Engagement Coordinator here. So just a quick update on where we are with our social media and then the community ask survey that we did in January. So first, Facebook, hopefully everyone is following us on there. We have 903 followers now, which is pretty good for 2.5 months. We, within the last 28 days, have reached over 17,832 people with our posts and engaged over 8,225. And this page was created November 29th of last year. There's roughly 105 posts on the page, and we cover all different topics, which I'll get to in a minute. It's interesting what people find interesting on there. So, employee spotlights, commissioner meetings, obviously, weather updates, events in the community are all covered on there. We are reaching people in surrounding areas as well, Griffin, Barnesville. Majority of women are on Facebook, 66.8%, and 33.2% are men. like I mentioned before, we're reaching around 17,800 people now. At the top of our reach last month, when Trayvon Walker was doing his thing, we reached over 28,013 people, which was outstanding. In the last 28 days, the page posts have garnered over 1,690 reactions and have been shared over 173 times. So here's a couple of the top posts. I don't think this one will surprise anybody. Trayvon Walker and his mom getting some beautiful flowers there reached over 12,000 people. And it was shared over 43 times. And we got 1,321 reactions from shares. The next highest one was about our awarding of that was the road department. When we had a potential lane closure coming up, a lot of people were interested in that. It was shared over 116 times and reached almost 10,500 people. Mayor Pro ambulance, obviously a big deal. When everyone got to view the ambulance's last meeting, that was a big post. And it reached 9,652 people and was shared 37 times. And then the fourth highest one was when we were awarded the emergency response zone. Again, not surprising that people are interested in this. So we reached about 5,000 people with that post. Instagram, we're a little bit slower to get some followers there. We've got 236 followers and we're reaching 407 accounts. That's up today, as of today. And again, that page was also created on the 29th of November. Kind of same demographics, maybe a little bit different here. We're reaching 72% of women on Instagram, 27.8% are men. And Instagram gives you some interesting insights. People are much more active during the weekdays when they're supposed to be working, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Is when people are the most active on our page on Instagram. Again, age groups are a little different on Instagram, a little bit younger there, the majority being between the ages of 45 and 54. And then we've got some outliers, mostly Thomaston people, but we've got some people in Zebulon, Molina, surrounding areas as well that are following us on Instagram. And you can see there we've received 566 different profile visits so far. Here's the top posts on there. Again, Trayvon Walker is a big one. Our luncheon that we had in December for our employees got a lot of action. And then most recently, a little bit of a update on where we were with community interaction and communication preferences was a big hit. So overall, these 4 posts got over 127 likes, 758 impressions, and 133 contact interactions. LinkedIn, a little bit more business focused, so we've only got about 45 followers so far. If you all have LinkedIn pages, please connect with us on there. We've received 66 reactions and 13 shares. And then the largest percentage of visitors came from the community and social services and human resources industries. So we did a community ask survey. It started January the 3rd and ran through January 18th. It was shared on all of our social media platforms. We asked people to complete the survey. It was really short, and we got 208 unique responses, and 199 of those were Upson County residents. Over 50% of the respondents were over the age of 55. They said text messages and Facebook posts were the top 2 choices to get their communication, their news, and their updates. So these were kind of the highlights of what people said they were looking for from us. We did ask an open-ended question where you could type in any response that you wanted to. And the question was, what is the one thing that you would improve in the way that the county communicates with its residents? So the main things they focused on or answered were more communication, specifically more frequently and timely. They want information or you all, I should say, want information regarding local news, so road closures, we saw that with one of our big posts on Facebook, weather updates, things that are affecting you in the moment you want to know about. They want published information on a variety of platforms, provide more public input forums, such as an online portal for residents' concerns. Radio and communication were specifically, and mail communication were specifically mentioned in several of the responses. Our residents requested more clarity and transparency and consistency in communication. And then 3 people specifically said that they enjoy your YouTube appearances. So that's good news. So what is our game plan to answer this, or these requests? More frequent and timely communication. If you're following, especially our Facebook page, hopefully you're seeing multiple posts a day with timely information. We are also, are also updating you on weather, traffic delays, all of those timely things that you want to know about. Information is going to be shared on multiple platforms. Right now we've got Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. We are looking at Twitter is in the works, as well as some other options. So if any of you have platforms that you want to see information on, please let me know. We are looking at a new platform called Bang the Table, which is going to allow us to have a link off of our website where our residents can actually register and have a two-way communication with us. It's a way they can give us input on projects, specific projects. They can even drop pins on maps to tell us where a pothole is. There's a lot of really cool things that we can do with that. I don't know if we'll open that door, but
We don't have any potholes.
Right. But that will provide a platform for two-way communication. And then we are constantly sharing information on the radio with our radio to share. So I know that was one thing that people were looking for, so we're making sure that that's happening. Also, the website is a big focus for us, so we're just really making sure that we are listening to what people want and working on those things.
Hey, Jessica, on that
Yes.
two-way communication
Yes.
effort, is that shared or is it direct communication with whoever? I mean, so anybody watching will see everybody's comments, or
On
the bang the table thing?
It would be, they have to register and put in specific information that we ask for so that we know, this is a legitimate.
Once they're in, they see everything?
They can see everything, but it's heavily moderated. So it's not just a free for all. But yes, it would be where if someone wanted to go into a specific project and see what did Chairman Allen say about this, they could see that. They would have to look for it specifically, but yes, they could see it.
May I just take it one step further, Mr. Chairman? So so if we posted a response, that response would be shared?
Correct. Yes. Yes. Okay, so just a few things about social media and what we're working on, commenting and contacting Upton County. I have received a lot of messages about our lack of allowing commenting on our social media, so I just wanted to kind of reiterate what we have said before, and the reasoning behind that is just to make sure that the message that we're trying to portray is not, taken away from the direct message. So the purpose is for us to get accurate and timely information and news out to the community. There are a plethora of different ways that people can let us know their concerns and thoughts. So just want to remind everyone, you can always directly message any of the pages with any of your comments, suggestions, anything. The direct contact information for everyone here is also in the About section of our social media pages. Email, call your commissioners. I think you guys are open to receiving emails and phone calls. You can always call the main office and we'll get the message over to them. Please complete the surveys when you see them. That's another great way to get your opinion heard and get things worked on that you think are important. And then please make sure that you connect with us on all of our platforms, because if we do have something new coming out, that's where you're going to see the information first. Any questions for me?
Any questions, comments?
Mr. Chairman, do you have the full results of all of the options that were available, where you could choose all of them if you wanted to and rank them?
I do not have it directly, like in my possession, but I can get it.
But number one out of the 10 or 11 choices was Facebook, right?
Facebook.
At
yes.
66%?
Yes.
And what was the bottom?
I believe the bottom one was,
Or the bottom two?
I think the website was one of the bottom.
And the other one was in-person meetings
Yeah.
at 2% or 3%.
Mm-hmm.
So, meetings such as this, town halls.
They're not interested.
Yeah, they're interested in being engaged on. Facebook was by far I think the number one.
Huge.
Yeah.
And then in text messaging, which I thought was interesting because.
Yeah, I believe that was number 2. Was
Yes.
text messaging.
Which that is something that we're looking into, the ability to, currently the website will email updates. I believe we can also get text message updates as well. We're working on that.
So, and that goes back to the chairman and I always talk about, ways to engage. And, the thought had occurred to us, maybe if we did a virtual town hall where we could have it live on Facebook, and maybe that would be the great way to be able to do something like that rather than actually having to convene a meeting, So I think it it was pretty clear about where the citizens of Upson County, how they want to be engaged, and I think there's a lot of opportunities for us to do some pretty neat stuff like that.
So, if we could find a platform or come up with a process, because it's, I'm sure it's a lot easier said than done
Right.
Sure.
to do a virtual town hall,
Mhm.
and I get it. So if there's a way to do that, Commissioner Ellington should be all over trying to do one of those on his own.
Well, no, the bang page, I'm just going to speak from experience here, and I really don't want to call any, but we got some local social platforms that are absolutely a disgrace to this community. I don't ever want to have anything with Upton County on it that I'm associated with.
Right.
My hamburger's cold, people just, we don't ever want to go there.
Right.
And I would be totally against going to any type of platform that allowed blanket comments
Sure.
and about subject matter that they have no knowledge of.
Definitely.
Just,
And I
heard
can-
from a friend to heard from a friend.
I can say that this platform is specialized to local government. I can share all the information to make sure you guys are on board before we move forward with anything.
Because you hit the nail on the head. The important thing here is not to dilute the message.
Right, exactly.
That what's put out there is accurate, and then by the time you get a lot of cooks in the kitchen, it could be completely off the mark and defeats the purpose.
And as we've discussed, Mr. Chairman, when you come to a meeting and speak, you have to say who you are and where you live, and there's no anonymity, and we don't want that in an online platform either. We want to know who you are, where you live, and what your concern is, because you're a citizen, and we want to know and understand you, and know and understand your concern. For some of the stuff that Commissioner Ellington's mentioning, I know exactly what he's talking about, and I've tried desperately never to read it, but we don't even know if these people live in the United States.
That's what I was thinking. Bangladesh or something. You've been here how long?
Almost 3 months.
Thank you. Appreciate what you're doing, making a huge difference.
I appreciate that.
All right. Next on the agenda, new business, discussion and approval of a roof replacement for the Hightower Memorial Library.
Mr. Chairman, for most of these, I'll defer to the finance staff to go over the details of these. I may just do quick introductions for all of them. Specifically for the Hightower roof, This was one of the projects we put on hold as we kind of went into an unknown season with COVID. We obviously had no idea where the economy was headed. There was a lot of uncertainty, so this was one of the, I think, 14 capital projects that we just paused at that time, and then the finance staff and the facility staff have picked it back up and are ready to present.
Okay. The existing roof is approximately 25 years of age, showing signs of distress, has missing shingles. That was really the reason that we began looking into getting having a re-roofing of the Hightower Memorial Library. We went about by posting a request for proposals or RFP on the Georgia Procurement Registry. We had 6 respondents. One of the companies that actually gave us a quote early on, we had contacted them directly. Unfortunately, that was Hero Roofing. Unfortunately, after we informed them that we were going to put it out there and request full-blown proposals, we really never heard back from them again. So they had the original quote, but they didn't provide all the other documents that we requested in the package. We had some very good companies that submitted quotes for us, and we used our scoring sheet or scoring methodology to score these, and the way things worked out with respect to scoring, which a lot of the points with respect to scoring on this particular job, the Jayco Roofing was the roofing company that just looked the best to me when evaluating their experience, and I actually called references on all of these, but Jayco's experience level, they do quite a bit of roofing work for cities and counties, and in fact, I think I documented some of that here in the first page, and that they has considerable experience in providing commercial roofing services to cities and counties. Covington, Georgia, and the Wilkinson County were 2 folks that I actually contacted. They did 250 buildings for the Camellia Housing Authority after Hurricane Michael. Everyone I contacted said that these folks are very thorough, quick, and their job sites are really clean during and after they're done with the job sites. And when I spoke to the gentleman from Jayco, he said, like, with respect to our roof, he could do it over a weekend, the library. So they were impressed. If you look at the scoring sheet, and I didn't number these pages, put exhibits, Jayco was solid. Roofworks was a solid company with a lot of experience as well. I'm going to pronounce it SIPM or SIPM. They had good experience as well. Most of theirs, though, was focused more on residential with some limited commercial experience, including Barnesville, and I contacted the city manager there. He highly recommended them. But overall, in total, just Jayco to me, I rank them really high on service delivery and capability. That's really what won the day in terms of overall points scored. Nobody was really considered local, so I assigned points based on the way we're doing it presently in terms of points. And same thing with cost. Basically take the lowest cost, which was SIPM, and I assign points based on their difference from the lowest score. So if it's $1,000 or less difference, they get the full 10 points. That's kind of how I've been working these types of evaluations. But they are the guys that I recommend. All of them are required to come down, so they all met with Phil and took their own measurements, etc. So they've all been on site. The total cost for the job, including the $1,500 for the performance bond, would be $37,385. We could fund that from a number of sources. Obviously, SPLOST is there. This ARPA funds we could fund this from as well if we wanted to. but SPOS would be probably the primary source.
Jason, is that you agree with that? So you're asking us to be paid from SPOS funds?
2016 SPOS, because it qualifies as a joint project, so we could pay it from the level 2 SPOS, which is for those joint projects.
Okay, so-
That would be my recommendation, Mr. Chairman. I think we need to have a larger conversation about ARPA strategy, you know, and I'll give you a little bit of update at the end, but, you know, spoiler alert, we didn't get all the grant money we asked for, and so I think we need to, based on that, we'll have to, nothing to do with broadband, other submissions. Based on that, we're going to have another work session, if you will, about how we want to tackle or how we want to strategize the appropriation of the ARPA money. So it would be my recommendation to use what we call the level 2 SPOS from 2016.
Okay. So gentlemen, you have staff's recommendation for Jaco Construction for the amount of $37,384.87 for the roof replacement for the Hightower Library. Is there a motion?
And if it's a joint project, we only have to pay 65%.
Well, what's considered the level 2 SPOS was part of that intergovernmental agreement for the 2016 SPOS that level 2 would be used for the joint project capital. So that is technically, those are pooled funds essentially. Yeah.
Okay. I'll make a motion to approve the recommendation from the finance director.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Any further discussion? Hearing no further discussion, Ms. Jones?
Commissioner Ellington?
Yes.
Commissioner Jones?
Yes.
Commissioner Wilder?
Yes.
Commissioner Watson?
Yes.
Chairman Allen?
Yes. All right, moving along. Next on new business, discussion and approval of a new contract for ball fields and county park turf management.
Mr. Chairman, I just want to give a little background before I turn this one over to our finance director. This one was put back out at my request, as some of the commissioners may remember. Obviously, a lot has changed with regards to inflation, and I think inflation has affected some areas of our operation more than others. But what happened in this case was what historically had been something that was awarded at the staff level, you know, based on an annual quote. When the quotes came back, because of the high level of inflation for this particular business, the quotes came back at a level that staff is not authorized to award under our purchasing policy. And then because of what that estimated amount ended up to be, there's a higher level of standard of procurement that this process had to go through. So we essentially put this one back on the street as a sealed bid proposal. So there's a little bit of history behind this, and we've actually been working on this since I think December of last year. So at my request, the finance office redid the procurement. And then with that, Mr. Chairman, I could let the finance director take it from there.
The county manager basically summed up everything on the first page. We were fortunate that we had 4 separate firms that actually attended, the companies that attended the pre-bid meeting. Everything was very well discussed at the pre-bid meeting. Shaka, the Recreation Department Director, and Paul Norton were both there. So everything was spelled out specifically. Things were actually discussed among one another to ensure that everybody was on the same page with respect to the applications, how often fertilizers and things would go down, the types of fertilizers, etc. So that what can be difficult at times when you're doing bids like this is having an apples to apples comparison. Even at best of efforts sometimes with these pre-bids, contractors come back and it's kind of hard to measure one against another. But this one, I think, went over really well in terms of that process. So we had the pre-bid meeting. The 2 firms that were not local were True Green and Peach State, I believe. Peach State, after they took a look around, I will say too, give credit to Paul and his staff, the 2 non-local companies were driven to all our county parks and Squirrel Bluff, so they saw everything. Took their own measurements, and so everything was done very well there. When I evaluated the packages, everybody did a good job on package submissions. There were a few items that were missing from their packages. I tell them up front that those aren't necessarily disqualifying factors. We just want to make sure that you have certain of these documents. For example, certificate of insurance. We want to make sure that's present before we contract with you. You know, if they can't, if we award a bid to a company, they can't produce that documentation, we'll come back to the board and we'll move to the next qualified company. It can be challenging sometimes, particularly with smaller companies, in terms of cost, to be able to spend that money and show you a certificate, particularly of insurance, particularly with respect to workers' compensation. But their packages were reasonably complete. The scoring was really tight between the two local firms. Green, if you look at Exhibit D, which is the very last page, True Green, obviously, their bid results, their costs exceeded the other two companies fairly significantly. I will say too here real quickly that both companies said and basically said that, hey, that cost from True Green is really a market cost, that what we're getting in part by these bids from the local companies is essentially a service to us and our community to help us as a county and everyone maintain our ball fields. So if you want to look at it, it's a little below market, or a lot below market of what it would cost us to have somebody come in. In fact, the district level manager said she was pretty much shocked when she saw the competing bids, particularly with the prices of fertilizer, the way they are. So the bids were within $300 a piece on the total cost, but you can see the way I score things. I gave both of those companies, local companies, 10 points for the cost, because their cost was within $1,000 of each other. The lowest bid price was from Kinlawn. The edge goes to Kinlawn in terms of the points for service, delivery capability, and quality of past experience. We have 9 years, I believe, experience with Kinlawn providing turf management services to the county with our ball fields and such. We didn't have experience, we do have limited experience with Green Touch, and that on an as-needed basis, they do work for our main campus here and around the courthouse in particular. I talked to Seth Morris about that. No problems, with their service. Everything was good to go. They did give me 5 references. I contacted 4, talked with 3 of them, all solid references. Most of their experience right now seems to be more on the residential side, but they are a newer business that's growing. But typically, as you can see, the way I score on quality of past experience, if we've never had experience with a company before, we just assign a minimum of 5 base points. So I gave them a 6. So long story short, I'm recommending Kinlawn to the commission as to award our current year, and we're doing these contracts annually, so we'll come back to the table again next year, do this process again. But for 2022, that's my recommendation to the board at the total cost of $31,510. All the application details and everything's actually in the documents that you received, and all of that stuff was, actually, this was much improved from the very first go-round. So all of it, when you look at any of these exhibits and Exhibit C, all of those particulars were adjusted accordingly. And we also made sure that, like for the county parks, we didn't put too much there in terms of fertilizer. It's mainly a weed control with the county parks.
Okay. Anybody have any questions or staff?
How much was it costing us before?
Well, it's approximately less than $20,000. So it's those, well, Paul could tell you, it's the fertilizer.
I mean, everything's going up.
Yeah.
Have we added anything?
No, it's the same stuff. Did we add anything to it, Rick?
We actually added our parts to this, the parts that has ball fields and stuff. That's what Ms. Shaka Johnson wanted to do. So that way we have a hand control and a weed control taking care of our parks. We want our parks to look just as good as our parks, ball fields.
So like the community parks, if you look at, trying to say, let me put my glasses on. It depends, it's about $12,000 was the cost for community parks.
12,600. That was green touching fee.
Right.
I don't know about every single park. I know about the parks in my district. You know, I'm not trying to be funny, but if we kill the weeds, are we gonna have any ground cover? You know, because we don't have, a lot of these community parks were established years ago, and we inherited, I know one in Thurston area, we inherited it from the school system, and they're mixed grass, field grass, better grow up, you can cut hay if you want to. They're not, I question that, but.
May give the opportunity for the grass to grow, maybe choking out the grass.
Paul's the best one to answer those questions.
Right. Well, I just since there's a big jump in the price, I was just curious about that. I mean, because you basically say we were doing for less than 20.
Well, we were if you take community parks out.
So we wasn't doing anything in any of the parks at any time, other than the bluff. I didn't know.
So fertilizer and everything didn't go up then we just added something to it.
No,
fertilizer has.
Well, it has gone up, but it ain't gone up to $12,000, right?
So on this particular one, so the Civic Center is 18.6, Community Parks is 11.5, and Squirrel Bluff
Well,
is
and I remember
13.50.
certain too, this is budgeted for in her operating budget. We're not asking for any monies out of SPLOST or,
Right.
so she's got this stuff budgeted.
Mr. Chairman, I would offer, I mean, for comparison's sake, it's there, everyone did the same thing, and this is just a procurement item, so
Right.
we can certainly have that operational conversation.
Yeah, we can chop out some of this.
Oh, it probably needs, it probably needs chopping out, it probably needs
We'll go out there.
weed control.
Well,
Probably
to do
needs-
it right, if you kill the weeds, you probably
needs
have some grass seed out there too.
Probably need grass seed too.
That'll be the next thing, so. Okay. So,
Mr. Chairman, you want any other questions?
I'm asking for a motion, or if anybody has any other questions for staff.
I like to make a motion that we go with staff recommendation.
I have a motion to approve the recommendation from staff for Ken Long. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
I have a motion made and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Hearing no further discussion, Ms. Jones?
Commissioner Ellington?
Yes.
Commissioner Jones?
Yes.
Commissioner Wilder?
Yes.
Commissioner Watson?
No.
Chairman Allen?
Yes. Okay, moving along. Next on the agenda is the discussion and approval of the boiler replacement for the government complex. Jason, you want to?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, obviously, this is an item that just came up recently. It's obviously no secret that we have a temporary boiler in the back parking lot. So I'll let staff handle that. Obviously, we were close enough to an agenda. This probably would have easily qualified under an emergency purchase, although this is a heavy lift as far as dollars are concerned. I want to add that since we were close enough to an agenda to be able to present you something, we were able to put a nice competitive process together in short order and get it in front of you for approval today. So we do have a recommendation. Alan will go over the details with you. We also have our facilities director here if you have any specific questions. But I would just add that the rental is, I think roughly, and I'll let staff speak to it, like $5,500 a month. So the faster we move on this, the better. And then I know the question of funding, it would be my recommendation to use level 2 SPLOST from 2016 SPLOST for this because it's also a joint project purchase. With that, Mr. Chairman.
Alan, do you have anything you want to add?
No, really, this one, because of we needed to move so quickly, 3 quotes were obtained by Phil, our facilities director. He reached out to these separate companies separately, and you can see easily A&B Heating and Cooling came in with the lowest quote. They currently provide service to us, do a lot of repair and in certain cases replacement of various HVAC components. So our recommendation is to move with A&B Heating and Cooling and have a new boiler put in place.
I just have a question, Phil. It really doesn't necessarily apply to the bid or anything like that. How soon do they have the equipment in stock, or are they going to order it?
5 weeks.
5 weeks from time we stamp this until they can receive what they need to get the install started.
Can we work on the rental part then?
The rental, the month was what, $5,500?
Are we renting that from A&B?
$1,800 a week after that.
Are we renting that from A&B?
No, it's a different firm.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I think Phil probably reached out to 5 or 6 providers. There were several that just weren't able to do the job quick enough, and they said it's going to take us too long. We won't be able to bid. So I don't remember exactly which companies those were.
Yeah, J.M. Clayton, they quoted on it.
Okay. So staff's recommendation is to go with A&B Heating and Cooling for $39,892 and an additional $160 for installation of a new strainer. Did I state that correctly?
Yes.
Okay. Is there a motion on staff's recommendation for this? Who was that? Is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion made, second. Any further discussion? Hearing no further discussion, Ms. Jones.
Commissioner Ellington?
Yes.
Commissioner Jones?
Yes.
Commissioner Wilder?
Yes.
Commissioner Watson?
Yes.
Chairman Allen?
Yes. Told you all this is going to be a long meeting tonight.
We still had a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Okay, next on the agenda is the discussion and approval of repairs for the Chumpty covered bridge.
Mr. Chairman, we actually had brought this at a previous meeting, and the preference of the board was to put this out in a single package for consideration, and that's actually what the finance office was able to do in pretty short time. So they're prepared to present a recommendation based on the feedback we got from the last time we had this before you. I think during that time, several commissioners have been able to get down there and look at the condition of the bridge just to verify that that what work that the facilities department was proposing was indeed what we needed as a remedy to make sure that we maintain the asset. So with that, Mr. Chairman, I can let the finance director walk you through the process.
Okay, so we actually submitted this as an invitation to bid on the Georgia Procurement Registry. We had a pre-bid meeting, was held on February 8th. And of course, I had the attached exhibits on who the contractors were. We had 3 contractors that actually came. All of the contractors were taken out to the site. I believe the chairman, Mr. Chairman, you were there, Phil Ellerby and Seth Morgan, including the contractors, all went out to take a look at the covered bridge. Everybody did their own measurements, etc. Bid packages returned. We had a bid opening on February 16th. Only 2 of the contractors submitted a bid, and that was Riley Contracting, Inc. and Michael Construction Company of Thomaston. Significant difference in the bid price. This was fairly easy in terms of scoring, which the scoring, of course, is on the back sheet, but based on the total points with respect to, I would say that in this case, it was the bid price carried the day for Raleigh Contracting. They're out of Sonoya, they're not too far away. But based on their total points, I'm recommending that we go with Riley Construction as soon as we possibly can to get started, because there is the uncertainty with materials if we don't engage them quickly. And obviously, they built that into their pricing, but total price would be costs, I should say, $127,000.
That funding would come from,
That would be general SPOS.
okay.
So that, that county only SPOS.
Okay, so all the wood that we talked about last meeting, is that wood he's gonna get? Or
Yeah, this is him, everything, labor,
This is-
materials.
This wood is included in this estimate.
And I apologize, maybe y'all can say it, I'm having to look on my phone tonight because my iPad, I can't see it, but what material are we using? What,
Cypress.
we are cypress, so the more, okay.
Does that include the roofing also?
It does.
It's the side and the roof.
And the
Two ends.
two
The threshold.
We're not doing the one side, the Up Creek side.
South side and east and west ends, and the roof completely.
And then stabilize.
And the bridge.
Ramps.
Yeah.
ramps.
And those ramps, they're pretty substantial, so they're gonna put those back 3x6s like they are?
Yes, sir. 3x9s.
Yeah, well, that's good.
Okay. Yes, sir.
So, the north side of the bridge is, white pine, is that correct?
Yes.
And it is in good
It's
condition?
probably southern yellow pine.
So, yeah, it is in
It
good
is,
condition.
it's solid.
Looks good.
It looks, wish the other side looked that good. Then we wouldn't have to talk about it.
We just talk about the roof.
Talk about it.
Yeah.
But, it's been beat up, sun and weather.
Okay. So you have the staff's recommendation for approval of Riley Contracting for $127,000, funds to be paid from the general splosh. Is there a motion?
Motion that we go with the finance officer's recommendation. Riley.
Motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made to approve to go with Riley Contracting for
And when can they start?
$127,000. Is there any other discussion?
Yeah, when can they start?
I don't know the answer to that.
I hope they
It's
can
gonna be
still.
about 2 months before we get the material. They get the material.
Oh, really?
You gotta cut it.
Oh, I thought that guy
Cut
had
it
that
dry.
stuff on the yard.
He sold it, after the last, we were pressing for time last 2 weeks ago, or whatever it was. He sold it.
I guess we do the best we can.
Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, Ms. Jones?
Commissioner Ellison?
Yes.
Commissioner Jones?
Yes.
Commissioner Wilder?
Yes.
Commissioner Watson?
Yes.
Chairman Allen?
Yes. Thank you, Phil. I think you're gonna get some temporary power down there too.
Oh, great.
If they don't show up, I think Commissioner Wilder might have a,
I gotta put a little petition for it.
yeah,
On both sides.
We got,
yeah, on both sides. I'll check, but, yeah, they were trying to do it without a generator, if they could get some temporary power down there from our local EMC. That might-
check on that.
Yeah, okay, thank you. All right, next is discussion and possible consideration of purchase of 5 sheriff vehicles.
Mr. Chairman, these were the Kia hatchbacks that we were talking about.
You gotta be the first on the scene.
well, I mean, that'd be
That's
all right.
one way to slow them down out there.
If we train them every couple of years, it don't matter.
We appreciate your patience, Sheriff. Not every day you get to hang out like this with us.
Oh, yeah, I wasn't expecting them.
We'll feed you.
We, of course, it's time to order patrol cars again for this year, and we've sought bids from 3 different providers. The lowest bid is from Brandon Motor Company of Unadilla, Georgia, and that is $33,142 per unit. Total will be $165,710. As you know, ordering a car and getting a car is very difficult at this point, so time is of the essence for us. And, Brandon's not only the lowest bidder, but they have the cars in the order bank that can be, they order about 700 of those cars a year. So some of those can be allocated for us and put to the fleet color that we use. And all we've got to do is have the approval and give them to go ahead and do that.
Okay. And it's my understanding, so this would be 16 splosh, it's the last of the 16 splosh.
For vehicles, yep.
Yeah, for vehicles. So, and
And I hope you can hire 5 people to drive it.
I hope I can too. Actually, these will be replacements for cars we've got out there. But,
so, and
But maybe that's an
we
incentive.
just need to keep the 5 people driving the one we've got in those cars.
and out of the ditch.
And out, yeah, away from deer, that's right.
Ditch and deer.
Our statistics last year were about 60% of the cars we bought were wrecked within the first couple of months due to deer wrecks. So, just stuff we struggle with. You know, parts again put us behind. And, you know, now would be the time, you know, not only to order cars, but you have to order equipment. I've been waiting for equipment for the last vehicle that I bought that I'm driving for 3 months now. So everything that we do is, we hope to get it in line to get it on the road, but it takes a while.
Okay, so gentlemen, you have it. You have the request from the sheriff for 5 vehicles. Unit price is $33,142 from Brandon Ford. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second? Motion made and seconded. Hearing any further discussion? Hearing no further discussion, Ms. Jones.
Commissioner Ellington?
Yes.
Commissioner Jones?
Yes.
Commissioner Wilder?
Yes.
Commissioner Watson?
Yes.
Chairman Allen?
Yes. Sheriff, I appreciate your patience tonight. I know this is the end of the splosh.
What do we do for the next year's purchases? Where do those-
Keep driving what you got.
Does that come with the 20, the last one?
Well, it'll be this next splosh, but the automatic, you know, I think in the 16 splosh, it was kind of programmed that there were 5 a year, so it'll be a discussion that we'll need to have as to, I know we're talking about capital improvement plan and going forward, so, you know, anyway, we know we got to replace them, and
I just need to know at budget time what to, you know, where to anticipate that expense might be covered.
I appreciate your help.
We'll get there and,
Appreciate your help in helping us with the maintaining the fleet size too. You know, getting 5 in and turning 5 in helps Jessica, helps us with our insurance and that. And the last thing, since you're here, I want to thank you for the stuff with AmeriPro and work with those because.
glad to help with that. I'm excited about that in our community. I can say from the 911 perspective, we managed that it's been a great transition so far. And Jason and Larry and I had some conversations last week about, you know, a universal communications plan that we might be able to come up with. I think will be positive for every public safety member in our community. So I think we got good things happening and we just continue on that vein. Thank you for your support. I'll get some cars ordered in the morning.
All right, thanks, Sheriff.
Good night. Thank you.
All right, gentlemen, next on the agenda is the appointment to the Hospital Authority Board. I believe we have 1 vacancy and we have 1 application, correct?
Correct.
So you have, before you have an application, Mr. Gregory Smith, 119 Springdale Drive. You have his application. Is there a motion on this?
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion. We select Gregory Smith for the, pass on to the hospital board.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
So I have a motion made and seconded recommending Greg Smith to the hospital authority for their review. Any other discussion? Hearing none, Ms. Jones?
Commissioner Ellington?
Yes.
Commissioner Jones?
Yes.
Commissioner Wilder?
Yes.
Commissioner Watson?
Yes.
Chairman Allen?
Yes. Okay, next is the appointment to the Board of Health. We have 2 vacancies, and we're fortunate to have 2 qualified applicants. So you have Ms. Glenda Harris, 202 Longview Loop, and Dr. Patricia Hall. Is there a motion on these?
Chairman Allen, just for the record, Dr. Hall is a reappointment.
Yes. Thank you.
I'll make a motion, we reappoint Ms. Hall.
We're reappointing Ms. Hall. What about Ms. Harris? Do we want to do these separately, or
Is it just one position?
It's two positions.
it's two
Oh, yes,
positions?
okay.
To reappoint Dr. Hall and
add
appoint Ms. Harris?
Ms. Harris.
Okay. Yeah, I have that motion. Is there a second?
A second.
So I have a motion made and seconded to reappoint Dr. Hall and to appoint Ms. Harris to the Board of Health. Any discussion? Hearing none, Ms. Jones?
Commissioner Ellington?
Yes.
Commissioner Jones?
Yes.
Commissioner Wilder?
Yes.
Commissioner Watson?
Yes.
Chairman Allen?
Yes. Okay. Finally, on next, comments. Jason?
Mr. Chairman, I guess my son's not watching the meeting tonight. He's trying to. I just have one comment, Mr. Chairman, for today, and I wanted to take the opportunity to recognize our extension agent. She's not here, but Haley Partain was named the 2021 Georgia Cattlewoman of the Year by the Mid-Georgia Cattlemen's Association.
Good deal.
Yeah, so as this board's aware, she's even though not necessarily a member of the Board of Commissioners team, she has been an unbelievable team member for us here in our community. So I just wanted to take the opportunity to recognize her for that accomplishment. I mean, she's really entrenched herself in the community since she's taken that role and since she's relocated to this area from Texas. So it's, I'm sure, one of many accolades she'll be receiving if we can retain her long term. So.
Sir.
And Mr. Chairman, I don't have anything else. That was the only thing.
Ms. Jones?
I do have one thing for the the April ACCG annual conference. Emailed everybody a request form for any classes that you wanted to take. Registration opens tomorrow, so if you want something, if you would, please send it to me tonight so that at 9 o'clock I can get on there, because y'all know they'll close really fast.
Can I send it to you by 9 in the morning?
Can you send it to me by 8:30?
I'll work on that.
Well, look, and they threw me a curveball this year, so, you know, we're creatures of habit. We always think class on Friday, class on Monday. They changed it this year.
Yeah.
It messed me up.
So, just so you know, the conference starts on Thursday, April 28th, and it will end on Sunday, May the 1st. Classes will be on Thursday and on Saturday. They will have keynote speakers on Sunday and on Friday.
And the classes in Tifton, have they filled those up, or?
When I registered you yesterday, they were still, all of them were still open, so I don't know what the.
Okay, thank you for that. Appreciate your patience. Mr. English?
I have nothing, thank you.
Okay.
I don't
Start on
have,
this end of the table tonight. You have anything
I
tonight?
don't have anything tonight.
I just, once again, going back to the issues of the bonds and the work the staff done on that, once again, I'd just like to say thank you. Thank you, Chairman, for participating in that call and, you know, teeing one up for us. And thank you, Jessica, for the work you done on the social media stuff and reaching out to the public. And I look to see more from you on that. I'm pretty excited about that. The biggest problem we have is getting information out to the public and getting correct information out. And I appreciate that. That's all I got, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Mr. Jones?
The only thing I got is I appreciate everybody that showed up tonight, and that's it.
YouTube world.
What?
You said the YouTube world.
Oh, yeah, well, y'all in YouTube, appreciate y'all looking at it.
Mr. Wilder?
I don't have anything.
And folks, I think this is the first time I don't have anything either. So with that, next on the agenda is an executive session to discuss potential litigation and personnel. For the record, that we do not anticipate any official actions after this, so, with that, I have a motion to
So moved.
enter executive session.
So
Mr. Jones, is there a second? All in favor? It's unanimous. Thank y'all all for coming out tonight.
Alan, do you mind if I have Alan join us for this? Really relevant to both conversations. Can you join us?
Yeah. We're still alive.
Y'all need to take.
What's
Look at there. And this came from where? Lansing?
Yeah, you
And the number one
can
bridge.
see it live there, Lorenzo.
Number one bridge is.
One of these folks is, one down here.
That's awesome, thank you for that call.
So one is kind of like 5 sides on one side and 10 on the other.
Well, I got
Incorporated that other side.
Phil said after a year it all looks the same, so hopefully that's. I didn't say good shape, it'll take me a while.
What would be, I was just curious what that additional cost would be to add besides keeping consistent with the type of wood.
That's all I was thinking, just like not
$20 grand.
5 sides and then. But then
You try vinyl,
are we gonna revisit it again in 3 years?
I think this will I think we can honestly say this will be the last time any of us revisit that. Building again. This will take it to.
You kicked both sides off, it's all right.
Yeah.
I don't really live
How to handle those.
Yeah, that's right.
Y'all covered that. And then you called me back for that one, so I.
So that's why.
So we knocking us out?
Hey, we got sandwiches.
I
know, that's why I'm knocking us out.
I got your email on the.
Have they got them back here?
I never remember that.
I was right in the middle of something to the meeting.
I open at
Catherine
5.
Bailey.
I guess whatever people.
I'll call him first thing in the morning.
I think it's just saying in executives, I don't know. I leave it to the pros.
Them and know what they want.
Where you going? You coming back here, right?
Unfortunately.
I was gonna come in and take a look around and check it out.
Okay.
Yeah, I drove by it today, and talked to your next door neighbors. But, I don't know any facility that's available.
Same old.
Yeah.
I guess we'd look if we could find a temporary board.
Yeah.
We're paying a premium for it.
We are. I was blown away at how fast they were able to do
Are we live?
everything in.
Okay, gentlemen, we're live again, so we've exited the executive session. There being no other business. For the board, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
We're adjourned. Thank you. We're still live.
Sandwich time.